easy go.
Okay, hello and welcome to another video. So I actually was planning on recording this last night, but then I forgot to, unfortunately. So hopefully this video might go out a few days late. Hopefully I can get it uploaded today, which is Friday, July 10th. Yeah, so today we are doing PC myths. So pretty much the reason why I'm recording this is because a lot of people who know like a little bit about tech, but then I guess people who don't really know a lot about modern PC builds, especially, they can like spread, I guess, rumors or false information. So, and then people come to me with that information, and like actually, people ask me questions all the time, like, is this true? No, it is not true. I also hear this around. So these are all tips that I have collected from experience, pretty much. And then I have like one bonus tip, not really kind of a myth. I'll get to that at the end. So if you want to hear that, stick to the end of this video. So starting off, installing more RAM will make your PC faster. Now, well, this isn't completely false. It mostly is, because I hear this a lot, like, oh, well, my system, if your system, like, if programs keep, like, crashing, then that's probably RAM. But what I hear a lot is like, oh, well, my apps don't launch very fast. That is not RAM. That is your storage. So, for example, like, one of my friends, I think this, like, no hate towards him, but I just kind of think he doesn't really know he doesn't know a lot about custom builds, even though, like, he did do one, which is great. But he's like, okay, my system, he installed a 1 terabyte, WD Blue. I don't know, I think it's either 7200 RPM or 5400 RPM. I think the Seagates are the faster ones. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so he installed Windows, he installed all of his games. So he had 16 gigabytes of RAM to start with. It's like, well, my system is really slow. And like, I didn't hear about this until after. So he's like, okay, I just installed more RAM to make my system faster. And like, well, did it work for you? He's like, no, not really. I think I'll upgrade to 64 gigabytes of RAM. Keep in mind, he does not have a high-end PC. So he has a GTX 1050, an i5 7400, and 32 gigabytes of RAM, and he might even upgrade to 64. I don't know if the motherboard will support that, but I'm just like, oh my god, I don't even know what to say to that. But yeah, no. So you probably know it's storage. So if your computer is acting up, first off, don't install Windows on a hard drive ever. If you're building a gaming computer, install Windows on an SSD. Like, I hear the argument, like, from more, like, of the more high-end, which I completely understand this, build a system with all SSD storages, 4 terabytes, 8 terabytes of all SSD, and yes, that is great. Games will fly open, you can edit videos in a breeze, but that is crazy expensive. So if you just buy like a 256 or a 512 gigabyte SSD and install Windows, install the most used applications, and then just get like 4 terabytes of mechanical storage for like the raw mass, like the big files that you don't really use on a daily basis. Okay, so next up, I hear this a lot on Craigslist, eBay. I try not to cringe when I hear this, but if so pretty much the myth is, let's say if I'm building a computer and then I go to sell it, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll just erase all my files, and then no one can see anything about no one can get the information back. No. I laugh so hard, like, people sell used computers with, like, the hard drive, and like, oh yeah, I emptied it, so none of my files will be on it. they don't realize I can still I can re-download what they deleted. And I just think that is hilarious, because, like, they might have something I don't want them, like, they might have something that they don't want me to look at, not aware that I can still look at it. But no, when you go to sell a computer, take the hard drives out. I cannot stress that enough. If they can see your browser history, everything you've installed, everything that you've done on the computer, they can see that. It's hilarious that so many people, like, don't know that. Yeah, so I see people selling computers on eBay with the used hard drives in there that they've used. But yeah, take the hard drive out, use it for your next build. If you don't want it, then just destroy it. Yeah, throw it in the trash, destroy it, throw it in the trash, do whatever you need to, just don't give it to another person. Once you get a new hard drive, it stays with you. Don't give it to anyone else. Okay, the second one is using a, well, sorry, what's third, I don't know. Okay, so using too much, using a, like, big power supply will damage or destroy your PC. Now, this is also false. I don't hear this one too much. But no, if you are, like, I've heard this before, like, oh, well, I'm building a system that, I'm building a system so I don't want to use, like, a huge power supply because I don't want to, like, damage it. But no, the power supply is not going to use more than it needs. So yes, it can output, let's say, 1,000 watts, 1,600 watts, 1,200 watts, but it won't do that unless the system draws it. So it's not just going to output all 1,000 watts or whatever at once. So if you're just running, like, a single graphics card, not a lot of storage, not a lot of RAM, it won't use all of the power. What can damage it is, like, let's say you have SLI, you have a crazy system, you're doing heavy overclocking, and then you you install a wattage, a power supply that can't give you enough wattage. That right there is a danger hazard. If you are installing a 1,000-watt power supply on a RX 570 or a GTX 1660, it might be it's a waste of money for sure, but you don't have to worry about it damaging it. So yeah, next up is if your cable management is bad, that negatively affects airflow. This is not, well, it can, if, like, everything is blocked, yes, it can affect airflow, but cables, like, there's still room. Like, someone asked, like, who has a 1050 Ti and an i5 8400, like, oh, well, I think I don't get very good performance on 4K games, which a 1050 Ti isn't very good at 4K games, because that came out close to 4 years ago. And it was a $200 or a $140 card 4 years ago. So now it's not very good, especially at 4K. But yeah, I'm like, no, arranging your cables, it will make it look prettier, but it won't make it look, it won't make it perform any better. Okay, so the next one is leaving your computer on overnight. Can damage it, and that is also false. Because, well, I mean, I rarely shut down my computer unless it needs an update. My computer's on sleep all the time. Definitely something, I mean, pretty much everyone knows that, like, when you're using your computer, you're not gonna get, like, you're not going to, like, damage something. But when, like, I've had this before where, like, something where my system is completely powered off, but then when I go to power it on, then something gets damaged in the process. I'm guessing, like, I've always fixed it, but I mean, That's what I've noticed. When you power something on, that's when the problems go on. But yeah, you can leave it on forever. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I just turned mine off when it needs to update, pretty much. So, okay, overclocking your CPU can, damage the, overclocking your, CPU can damage the CPU or reduce its lifespan. So, I've heard this like, oh, no, I don't want a good cooler because I don't want to overclock because that will damage the lifespan of it. I want to say this is completely false, but it is not. Because pretty much a CPU, well, a modern CPU, it lasts about 12 years. If I overclock, like crazy overclock, extreme, if I push it on like way over its capabilities, yes, it will shorten the lifespan to maybe 10 to maybe, if it's lasting 12 years, it might last 11 to 10 and a half years. So you're getting a year to a year and a half less usage. But realistically, no one's going to keep their computer to the, their CPU at least, to the 12-year mark. Because even if they do, at the 12-year mark, it won't be as, well, it won't perform as well in 12 years. I'm guess like 2 to 5 years is when most people upgrade. So yeah, overclock your CPU, push it to its max, it is fine. Okay, so now we got my bonus tip, or my bonus, yeah, not a myth, it's a tip. When you are custom building your PC, you probably heard me and a lot of other people say that you don't need a lot of, like, building your computer is better than pre-built. And yes, value-wise, that is the case. But I get this so much, like, okay, I bought parts, I don't know how to build it, I'm too scared to look up YouTube tutorials, which there is plenty of amazing, helpful YouTube tutorials out there. I recommend you go watch those. But what they do is take it to like a computer store, pay hundreds of dollars for them to build it, and then at that price, you might even be getting a worse value than a pre-built system. One of my friends, oh, this is a while ago, but I still refer to this idiot, or sorry, okay. But anyway, so one of my friends down in America, he's like, okay, I want a computer, a custom build. I don't want a pre-built because it's bad value, as I told him. So then I'm like, okay, what's your budget? $500. And I'm like, okay, here's the perfect $500 system. And he's like, okay, cool. And then, so he orders all the parts, the list I made him. And then, he's like, okay, so then I'm like, okay, watch these YouTube tutorials. I send him a few, and he's like, okay, if you need me, call me, I'll answer any questions. And like, okay, perfect. So then the parts came, and then he brought it to a computer store, paid $500 for them to build it for him. So then they build it for him, and then he comes back and like, okay. So then next time, like, I talk to him, it's like, okay, hey, how is your computer? How's it doing? How's it performing for your needs? And like, oh yeah, perfect. And then he brings up that he paid $500. So now his $500 custom build is now a $1,000 custom build. And like, dude, if you had $1,000, I could make you a parts list, and then we could just, next time over there, or I could just FaceTime you and then tell you how to build it. You could have gotten way better performance for $1,000. Crazy. I mean, at that price, probably just could have gotten a pre-built, and then it performed better. So he paid $1,000 for a 1050 1TB hard drive, i5 7400 cheapo motherboard. Yeah, this was a while ago, so like these parts were fairly new. But I mean, come on, $1,000 for that. Yeah, so there's plenty of people that just do that. I mean, if you're too lazy, just like look at like a 20-minute YouTube tutorial. It's like people think, oh my god, it's like a project that it will take me a month, a day, even like this project will take me a full day. No, you can do it if you know what you're doing. 20 minutes, easy, tops. You can assemble a computer from scratch in 20 minutes. And then, I'm like, and then when I look at it, he's like, I'm like, okay, I assume that he installed, or the shop installed like drivers, but no. So I had to personally install the drivers. I didn't charge him for that. You're welcome if you are watching this, which I know you watch my videos. But yeah, I installed the drivers. I got him like the software working perfectly. He paid $5,000 for the shop to build the computer, but they didn't even install the drivers. So yeah, that is my bonus tip. Sorry for my rant. I will end the video here, or end the voiceover here. So I guess right now you see Call of Duty Modern Warfare mixed with World War Z gameplay. Comment down below what other gameplay you want to see. And yeah. Alright, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Yeah. Peace.